Welcome back to episode 6 of Pull No Punches. I am Josh.
And I'm Lauren.
And we've taken a little bit of a hiatus. We've had some vacation, but we are back. We're ready to get after this. And this episode, we are talking about competitiveness, which has been a huge hurdle that we've had to get over in our marriage. And we continually still try to jump over that hurdle.
Yeah, I feel like this topic really runs deep for us, especially early on in our relationship. All aspects of it. Competitiveness brings bickering. It brings, wanting to win. It brings arguing. It brings fighting. It brings animosity. When you really think about why we were like that, it's because we've been, it's been the forefront for both of us our whole lives. With sports and competing and even our own teammates we had to compete against. And
sure.
And, you're my teammate in this relationship and marriage. And so it was kind of just, for me at least, ingrained in my head, like, I got to win. I got to be right. I got to,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, same thing.
Yeah.
And I stem like the father womb in me is like, my dad was always right.
Mm-hmm.
No one was ever wrong. You had no opinion in it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that growing up, and it's kind of translated into my life. And then sports kind of really brought that out.
Yeah.
But before I even get into that, there's just one funny thing that just popped into my mind. And with us, we got in an argument way back in the day in college. And I just remember you would not give up. And you got so mad because I said I was right. And you took your cell phone.
Oh my gosh.
And you spiked it into the ground.
In the middle of the street, I believe.
Into the middle of the street. We had to get you a new cell phone just to prove your point that you were right. And you were so mad that you thought I was right.
Yeah. That's a little embarrassing to think about.
It's just a preface of like,
that
things we've had to get over.
To be completely honest, that is the preface of how bad it was. How embarrassing it was, how stupid it was, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah. And I think
I'm like now trying to think of one that you did, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
But I think a lot of the competitiveness in our relationship has really been towards the fact that we want each other to know that the other is right, or we've done something right and we're not in the wrong. And it's just one thing after another, or I've cooked the best food. My food is the best.
Yeah.
I picked the best restaurant for a date night.
Yeah. You parented the right way.
On and on and on and on.
Yeah,
and I think it's led to multiple fights and multiple arguments and multiple makeup. Makeup sex.
Yeah. That's the good that comes out of it.
Sure.
I guess.
In a healthy circle of marriage. Yes, that is. Because we can come back together from that.
Yes.
And still be one.
I would say it was, I can probably speak for you too. It was really mentally hard, mentally taxing for a while. I feel like we went right when we first started dating and, in the early days, the early years.
12 years ago.
Yeah. Just the bickering. It's just constant. We're in the car, we're bickering about something. We're in front of family or friends and we're bickering about something. And it weighs on you mentally so hard. You wouldn't think that just like words or conversations would have such like an emotional and mental like weight that you carry with you. And then it keeps compounding.
Right.
And it just kept compounding because we would always say, we can't. I remember vividly, I don't know why, I just remember it's always in the car, but I would remember us vividly.
I can tell you why.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll give an example here in a second.
Oh my gosh. I remember vividly us all the time saying, we can't do this. Why do we do this? It's stupid. What are we even arguing or bickering about, or who cares who's right? Back to the fact that we wanted to, be the one that was right, be the one that had the best idea. And, it was almost like we were looking for validation from each other to be like, wow, you did have the best idea. You were right. But instead we didn't want to let our guard down and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that I've mentioned this before, but that's one of my worst traits is that it is extremely hard for me to be vulnerable. And in this scenario on this topic, it is really, really tough.
Sure. Yeah. Again, it stems back to our parents.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed a pattern when your mom comes over, like you have very similar patterns and styles of speech and wanting to be correct and wanting it to be right and wanting it to be yours.
Offering opinions is the biggest thing.
Right. And it's not in a bad way. It just comes across wrong.
Yeah.
And I know I do the same thing, but my difference is I have a short fuse.
Yeah.
And so where I get irritated and rubbed the wrong way because you're not understanding me. And I think my idea is better, which 98% of the time it is. There's 2% that's not.
Wow. At least you gave me one more percentage.
Yeah.
Usually it's 99.
You've gained a percentage over the years.
Well, and I will say that, along those lines, the downfall with that is that offering opinions for me with your short fuse is that I want to explain why I think it's the best way or why I'm right. And you're not one of those like sit down and, talk or listen, you're good at listening, but like in that moment, you don't want to hear my explanation about why I'm trying to persuade you that I'm right on top of already persuading you that I'm right and the right thing to do or the right opinion. And so we're very similar in a lot of ways, but that is a big way that we have that's a big difference between us.
Sure.
The way we communicate in those scenarios.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's give another example here. I don't mean to throw you into the bus, but I had another one. There was a couple weeks ago, and this validates everything you just said. We were driving to soccer. We play co-ed soccer on Sundays, every Sunday, and we were going to be a couple minutes late, which we can't do because we didn't have enough players that day, or we were running low on players, and it was going to be 2 minutes late, roughly 2 minutes late. I'm driving, and Lauren likes to speed. She calls me the grandpa driver. I'm probably more than a grandpa.
I don't like to speed.
I'm probably like the driver's ed car that says student driver on it. I should probably.
Oh my gosh, we need to get one of those signs.
Put that all over my truck.
I'm totally getting you that for Christmas.
But there was red light after red light after red light, and you're getting frustrated because I'm not passing people, and I see a red light up there, and you're like, "Get in the left lane, Josh." And we straight up got in a argument and a yelling match because you wanted to play soccer on time and be there so you kick the ball in the goal, the very first one, and I just didn't care to put us at harm, and I got very frustrated because you kept doing it, and we actually ran out of the car, didn't talk to each other till after the game.
Yeah. And I actually ended up feeling really bad. And I think I
got you on time. You were on
there,
time.
We were 2 minutes early.
We got an argument.
I mean, we can laugh about it now, but I think that's just everybody encounters those scenarios, no matter how strong their marriage is. And I think, years ago, it would have been, we probably would have fought about it all night. Kept talking about it, like why I did that or why I said this or what I feel. And because we didn't want to show, or at least for me, I didn't want to show weakness. I didn't want to let my guard down and be like, oh man, I overreacted. What woman wants to say that? Because it happens often.
Not very many.
Yeah, but
I think you have a very strong personality. And I think we both have a very strong personality, but yours is more outwardly strong.
Yes, in different ways. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Like verbally.
Yeah. You process things internally, I think. So you process things in your head. I process them externally. So I process them verbally. Yeah.
Did I just say that out loud?
Yeah.
You did. Yes, you did.
Oh man, I got to be careful with that one. That could be really dangerous.
Like last yesterday.
Okay, is this example number 3?
Example number 3.
Wow,
home run,
we're killing it.
3 for 3. We were on the bus, and
wait, why?
So we were on a bus. We went to the Parade of Homes.
We don't just normally do
with one of our awesome realtors.
Yeah, and
we were doing a little booze cruise, and we saw some beautiful homes, and we ended with a $4.5 million home. That was really cool. But everyone was drinking on the bus, having fun. We get off at the end. and everyone's being dropped off, and we're the very literally the last seat on the bus, and people are still talking and drinking, and you stood up and you're like, so are we getting off? And I'm sitting there kind of chatting too, and I'm like, damn, girl.
I didn't mean it like that.
Strong personality.
I just like everybody, there were just these people that were kind of blocking us, and everybody else had gotten off. And so I didn't mean it like, like the head bob type comment. I was just in my head, I was like, I wonder, like, are you guys going to get off? Or are you staying? Because then we could pass them is what I meant. So I usually need just like an explanation with what I say, and then they would understand.
Yeah, but that's what you don't like. No, I don't like that. I don't like conflict.
I know.
I'm more of I'm a people pleaser. But if the time comes, I'm gonna explode, and it turns into a bad thing. What would you say the biggest thing is that we've gotten over this past? Well, we were coming up on 7 years of marriage, but we've been together for 12 years. What's been the biggest change to you getting over those hurdles to where we're at now?
What I've noticed, and that's a great question, because I just popped into my head the scenario that kind of flipped a switch for me. We were at your parents' old house, and the bickering was bad. We lived with them at the time, so of course they were around us all the time. They they heard the good, they heard the bad.
Our son was made there. Is that the good? Is that what they heard?
Yeah. And your mom's pretty quiet. She's pretty even keel for the most part. And I just remember we were bickering about something, walking to the car, and she, with a very like strong voice, said, "Stop arguing." Like, that's something she would never say. Just, because she doesn't really, speak, outward about, getting in the way of somebody's conversation or argument or something like that.
Sure.
And it just really, like, I was taken aback by it, because like,
she doesn't speak very much.
And that means that it's bad, and so to answer your question, we still bicker, we still argue, but this sounds kind of lame, but they've gotten shorter, they've gotten quicker, they've gotten to the point where, we've been able to say, oh, okay, that was really stupid.
Like, we're able to take a step back in the midst of it and say, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, oh, shoot, I'm sorry. And I think you're better at this than me, at apologizing when you're wrong, which is like 98.5% of the time. But no, but like I said, to answer your question, I think that is the biggest thing for us, is we've been able to communicate through those stupid things that weigh us down a lot better. Which that sounds weird, but I can't emphasize like how much of a toll that really took. That was probably one of the worst things in our relationship, or probably the worst.
Yeah, the worst thing, the way to come over.
Yeah,
because it just ate at you, and then, excuse me. If something else was brought up, it was just kind of like there was an underlying issue already there that just, it would have lit my fuse. My fuse is already lit. Yeah. And so being short fused, it just kind of turned into a bigger fight than it needed to be. And for you, it was probably the same situation, but you're a little bit more controlled and temperamented than me, and able to, control your conversation, where I'm just going to blow up. But that underlying issue just kind of kept carrying over, which never got resolved and never got figured out. Yeah. There was no apologies. There was no talking through it. And I think the biggest thing that we've kind of gotten to the point where if something happens, I tend to walk away now, like, because I know I have a hot temper. I know I'm going to say something that I regret. So if I start feeling that, it's like I walk away, which isn't good for your love language.
It's not. It's taken me a long time to.
It has, because you used to come after me and it would cause another fight.
Right. Because I want to explain. I want to fix. I'm a fixer. Like, I want to fix it. Then I don't want to just let it simmer inside of me or inside of you. And, I don't want you to have it in your head and keep thinking about all the bad stuff. And so I think that's what used to be so bad. And you have gotten so much more patient also, I feel like. And, we're still working on it. We're still working on it.
It's work in progress. But I think walking away from me helps. It helps me like not see red and not like want to seriously just like kill something. Like, just like calm down. Yeah. Think through it in your head, process it. And now I can come back and say, okay, you know what? I was in the wrong. I didn't mean to do this. You didn't mean to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now you did this. I don't think that's right.
Right.
But I'm apologizing. And,
right.
And you're able to then kind of process it at the same time. Now you're still mad at me for walking away. And you might say,
get over that.
You can throw a pillow at me when I walk in, but we're able to sit and, process things and work through things. And that's what marriage is about.
Yeah. And joke about it. And we have been able to be kind of angry, but then just kind of like look at each other and just kind of just be like, are you kidding me? Like, and start laughing. And I think that comes with maturity too.
Right.
It comes with the fact that, we have children now, we have, a career, we have all of this stuff, and we just don't have the mental energy anymore to do what we used to do over and over and over again, like at all. And I think it's good to like think about that whole process that we went through. And there's still times where it is bad and, it kind of reverts back to those times, but it's very few and far between now.
Yeah.
Which has been
much better. Great. And I think our neighbor actually said something very profound yesterday when she was over. And she mentioned, you guys are not about divorce. Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuck to me. Like, the world is so about themselves and what's good for me and rather the other person. And they're so easy to walk away. Let's get a divorce. Don't care about the kids. And that hit me because as a Christian man, my team is you.
Right.
And that helps us in an argument where I'm saying, like, I'm not looking for a divorce here. I'm not looking to walk away from a situation that I'm mad about, that I've just let the underlying issue stack and stack and stack and stack, and now I'm done.
Divorce it's not even on the table.
Is not we don't talk about it. We don't mention it. This is the only time we'll say the D word.
Yeah. We'll
say other D words, but divorce is not an option. And when divorce is not an option, it's not on the table. There's only one way to get through something. And it's to talk it out. It's to work it out and figure out how we can now move ahead as a team. Because if you can't do that, you start separating each other.
Yeah.
And your relationship grows apart. And now the only thing that's glued together is the kids. And people will always say, oh, I'd do anything for my kids. Well, God damn it. Figure it out because your kids need you
that
and
is the best thing you can do for them
together. And I know I said I'm a Christian man. I said, God damn it. But that's one of those things that it really hits my heart. And it's frustrating to see people to say, I'll do anything for my kids. I'll do anything for my spouse. But then when the time comes to do it, men, you don't man up, and women want to walk away and flee.
Yeah. It's the easy way out. And I really did appreciate her saying that because like, I love that she notices that in us. And I hope that, we can be an example to other couples, whether they're younger than us or older than us, going through whatever it might be, because, there were times when we were younger and it wasn't an option then either. But when it was really, really bad, that I could see people that don't have that foundation. Who's to say? But that could, it could have been one of those moments where somebody could take the easy way out.
For sure.
So.
Totally agree.
That got a little bit very passionate about this, obviously. Yeah. No.
I'm sick of the world and divorce, and you see with these kids that get upset and they don't have the parents around, they don't have the father around, there's no father in sports. The mom's either taking care of all the kids or now the dad's taking care of all the kids. And we've run into all these issues even in this neighborhood. It's like there's been divorces between religions and not religions. And mom wants to party now and dad's got to take care of the kids, or dad wants to leave and now mom's stuck with the kids completely. It's just a mess. And the kids that already have a hard enough time in this world to
for sure.
For parents to do that,
to have to deal with their parents now too, their parents should be, doing that for them, not the opposite.
Yeah. But anyways, competitiveness in our relationship. That's passion right there. Yeah. That's what drives us to compete for each other, I guess you could say in a roundabout way.
Yeah. So now we don't compete against each other. We don't compete for each other.
We compete for each other. And that's the healthy way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So got to let your guard down sometimes. Right. You got to just be patient, let your guard down, be vulnerable. We've said that word a lot in our podcast.
Yeah, that's one big, I think that's something you're trying to get over and you're doing a really good job at it. So breakdown, you came up with the next episode and why people should watch.
So next episode is going to be managing finances. I say that with a grain of salt because it's a very touchy topic. Very, very touchy topic. And we'll get into why and some experiences we've had with marriages and relationships and our own experiences. But super excited to chat through that. And
be episode number 7. We'll be back at it. See you guys next week as we talk through finance. See you guys.